Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, race fans of all ages. James Jungquist here with Josh Murphy. This is the Century Downs pregame show. Today's Mental Health Day here at the Racetrack. We have a 9-race card on tap for you. Races 2, 3, 7, and 8 are the Shirley, MccLellan, and the Moores Mile. 2 of our biggest stakes of the year. Lots of excitement on track today. Josh, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, James. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You know what? We don't got a lot of time today, so I want to get into the meat of the matter here. Let's get into these stake races. What do you think?
Well, I think we got some competitive races on tap here. We got 2 eliminations of each. Starting in the second race is the Moores Mile for the 3-year-old colts and geldings. It's a pretty competitive field, only 5 in each of them, 10 total entries. But I think you look at this first elimination, you got Angelo, Julio Get the Stretch, Vegas Gambler. Those inside 3, I think, are all pretty talented horses, and it's going to be quite the race.
Well, let me tell you, Josh, I have this green pen here. This green pen says Gambling Sense. And he's got a big old smile on him. You know why he's smiling? Because he took your good gambling advice. Now, let me tell you, I'm taking the 1, 2, 3, 2. I'm not going to take many picks today. I'm going to let Josh do most of the picks. So, Josh, are you sold on the 1, 2, 3 in here?
Yeah, I think those kind of control the race. I lean towards the rail with Angelo for starting the Dave Kelly barn, coming in from the coast where Jim Marino was training. Jim does Cologne with JJJ Stables and Paul Sanders. I just think this horse, despite being lightly raced, is pretty talented. He's got a good post, obviously, with the rail. He can kind of work out the trip he wants. And you look, I mean, he's knocked heads with some okay horses. I mean, 2-back racing Ladner Lad, who won the Super Finals here last year. So despite being a little light on starts, I think he's got the talent. I think he's going to be a major player in here. But you can't disrespect the 3 Vegas Gambler for Rod Starkowski. Was a very talented horse last year, and he's faced pretty tough competition this year. You look at the name Samba Beat on his form, where he was second to him. I mean, we saw him win the Ed Tracy in a sizzling 152 last week. And then Julio Get the Stretch, Kelly Horton stake races. I don't need to say a ton more. He's always in the mix there. Then even the outside, too, I think they're just looking to get in there as well. I mean, they're trying to qualify for the final. So, I mean, realistically, 4 from each race, and then the 5th place finishers will draw. So 4 of these will get in, and even the 5th place finisher does have a chance. So Killer Dragon for Brandon Campbell, obviously a very good driver. Restless and Wild, I thought, raced sneakily all right last time.
So if you're reading between the lines there, Josh just picked every horse in the race. So
I touched on every horse, but I'll go to Angelo.
He's not going to miss one. Moving on to race 3, man. So race 3, I'm going to be honest, I said I wasn't going to pick any, but Sharka's Little Lad's in here. He's a sentimental favorite from me. Makes me a little sad seeing former trainer Bill Collins. We lost Bill this summer in Cal Expo. Dave Kelly, Tammy Marshall have picked up the mantle to kind of fulfill Tammy's dream of racing this horse through the stakes. So that's why I'm taking Sharka's Little Lad. Only rule, sentimental favorite. What does a actual thinking man's gambler want to go with in here?
I kind of thought it ran through the 2-4 here. I thought Sub-Zero's raced pretty well despite having 2 6-hole starts there. Not the greatest post, but he's raced very well for the Brent Bauder barn. And Ernesto de la Cruz, I mean, looked very good last week. Came out in 27-4. Despite, I think, the 3 to 5 morning lines a bit short in here, considering he was racing maidens. I will go to Sub-Zero, but I think Ernesto de la Cruz is probably the other one. They're going to be the 2 big ones in the betting.
Sub-Zero, flawless victory. Moving on to race 7. Skipping way ahead here. This is the first leg of our Shirley MccLellan for the 3-year-old fillies. What are you liking here, Josh?
Oh, I think the first horse you have to look at is Case Forever, the private purchase for Kelly Hort, who's undefeated since going to his barn, 3 for 3. I mean, 2 straight 155 and 2 miles. Obviously got a lot of talent, can win from off the pace, which is a nice trait for this one. I think there's some other interesting ones in here as well, though. There's some really lightly raced ones in here. I thought it was interesting looking at this race that the 4HF Flower has 21 career starts and the rest of the field combined has 26. So she's got some experience and has knocked heads with some better horses. You got Mike Hennessy driving. My other kind of one I want to throw underneath, I like the 3 Chase Forever on top, but was Dial Me Up for Dave Kelly, who's been racing very well and actually been racing the boys in her last couple starts. I think, you look Ernesto de la Cruz, who's quite likely going to win one of the Moores Mile eliminations, was only a few lengths behind him last time. So I think Dial Me Up is going to be a bit of a live one if you wanted to go against the 4 to 5 morning line choice in Chased Forever.
The first time I watched Chase Forever race, I thought, that's a real horse. I think she's going to be a real horse today. My long shot with the shot, actually, in this race today is Daisy Corvette. I thought she raced awesome last week, and she also snuggles me every now and then in the morning when I walk through Mr. Sobey's barn, so I will take the 2.
Yeah, I think Daisy Corvette reminds me a lot of Dial Me Up, another lightly raced one. Actually coming into her last start, had a week off in between. So I think Nathan just kind of tripped her there, wanted to look after her. It's a long season for these 3-year-olds, so I think the goal is going to be the stake race in mind. I like where you're going there for a big price underneath.
So I'm going to skip over the next race in our card. We're going to take a little break. There's the Preakness. I'm going to skip over that. We're going to come back to that in just a second, Josh.
I'm still going to make you make a pick in the Preakness.
8th race, last leg of the Shirley. What do we like here? It's a little bit bigger field than the last few, so a little bit more competition. What do you like?
And I think this is a very interesting one because, as we know, you've driven plenty of races in your life. The draw can make it a very interesting race. And when Divine Art got post 8, I think that makes it very interesting. The super final winner last year, now he has to deal with another post 8. Her first start off the layoff this year was also from post 8. That's why I think he's very talented. I think he's going to qualify for the final. But I kind of looked at the 2 Sapphire Blue. I really like that 6-1 morning line if I can get that price. He's only had the 1 start this year, but it was a good race against much tougher Outlaw Alley-Oops and Bearcat Abigail, aged horses who've been racing all spring and winter. So, giving up a bit of fitness to them. And she purposely had the week off last week. I think they're very much pointing her to these races. Mike Hennessy will call the shots, and I thought she raced very well. She was a very talented 2-year-old last year. Just had an unlucky draw in the super finals to get post 8. But I think if I can get anywhere near 6-1, I like her. She can work out a good trip. Obviously, Wrangler Jewel is going to be one that gets some respect as well. But I think if I can get anywhere near that price, Sapphire Blue's that's a good bet, I think.
Absolutely. And, tough decision for Nathan Sobian here again. Like, he's got to, do you trip out from the back end and try to save your horse from the final, or do you take the chance of getting parked and finding a hole? Like, it's one of the reasons I enjoy sitting here instead of sitting out there.
Well, I think that's the big one is if you try to win this race at times, you can risk getting parked, and you want to qualify for the final, and that's the ultimate goal. So, Nathan had a very good year last year. He's a talented driver. I expect him to, be cautious. He's going to make sure that he qualifies for the final. If that results in a winning trip, great. But I think the ultimate goal for all these horses is to get to that big final next week. So it's going to be an interesting driver's race from that perspective, how it all shakes out.
Awesome, man. Now, like you said, you're going to make me pick one. The Preakness. I have a proven philosophy for losing money betting thoroughbreds. And you know what? You haven't looked at the book, but I'm still going to go with my pick, the 6 horse, because I always pick the 6, and its name's Happy Jack. How can you go wrong with Happy Jack?
I can't argue your logic there, James. I really do like that idea. In the Preakness, I'm going to try the 5 early voting, the Chad Brown horse. I think he's getting better and better. He's only got the 3 career starts, but I thought he's looked good, and I kind of like that he's been pointed to the Preakness. Obviously, the race runs for the 8 Epicenter, who, really ran a good race in the Derby, just got nailed by that 80-1 shot in Rich Strike, who won't be participating in the Preakness, which is a little bit disappointing. But I think early voting's kind of he's the main competition to Epicenter, and that's who I wanted to try. 7-2 seems decent. In a race, it's always fun.
And, for terrible gamblers like me, you hate betting the favorites that, make you money. So I will lose my $2 later probably on Happy Jack. Hopefully you guys make some money today. We have lots of awesome silent auction prizes at the south end of the grandstand in the white tent. It is Lionheart Foundation Day here at the racetrack. We're supporting mental health awareness. We have breedings to Betting Line and Mystery Chase. So please come down, as well as many other prizes. Have a look. Thank you all for watching. I'll be outside later. Have a great day.